So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? And am I the antagonist for not letting a girl finesse me out of a free meal? So as always, make sure you subscribe down below with the notifications on, because we tried something different, but we're going to go right back to it. So we're going to read Am I the Antagonist, take it over to Decoy Court, read some top comments and the controversial comments and your comments down below, but let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP wrote, Am I the antagonist for not letting a girl finesse me out of a free meal? I never realized how long this story would be. I was talking to a girl, Jane, on a dating site. After a few messages, we decided to meet up. I pick her up and head to a local bar/cafe, and I order a coffee. She orders a glass of wine. 45 minutes in, we decide to call it a night, and I ask for the bill. As the server is placing it on the table, she orders another glass of wine and asks him to add it to the bill. He comes back with a new bill in her glass. She gets up and goes to the bathroom. I pay the bill and wait patiently for her to return. She finishes her second glass and I take her home. Pretty lame date, and I had no intention of seeing her again. A week later, I get a text from her, asking if I'd like to meet up again. Thinking maybe I should give it a second shot, I tell her that I'd be down to grab another coffee or go on a walk in the park since it was a nice day out. I had to go home and quickly grab something to eat and then shower since I was at the gym. Finishing up my workout, she agrees. I get to her place, and as soon as she gets in the car, she asks if we can go get sushi. I remind her that I just ate, but offer to take her to the restaurant so we can grab takeout and eat it in the park, sticking to our original plan. I said I'd grab a coffee from Starbucks and we'll just enjoy some outdoor time. We get to the restaurant and she decides that she's eating there. Okay, no problem. She orders a platter and a glass of wine. I have the free tea that they leave on the table when you walk in. 30 or so minutes in, she asks for a to-go box, the bill, and a second glass of wine. The bill shows up and she gets up and goes to the bathroom. She comes back and the bill's still sitting on the table. We just sit there for a few minutes, then I ask her if we're waiting for something. She has the nerve to say that she's waiting for me to pay the bill. Why would I pay for the bill? It was her idea to go out. It was her idea to get sushi. She's the only one that ate. She's the only one that had drinks. Me? Nope, that's not happening. Her? I thought you'd cover this time and I would cover it next time. Me? This is next time. I covered the first date. Why wouldn't you cover this if you're the only one that ate? Her, well, I assumed you were just going to. I didn't bring my wallet. Me, who leaves their house without money? Then after a minute of awkward silence, I got up and left. The call started 2 or 3 minutes later. She called me at least 6 times over the span of an hour, but I didn't pick up. Wasn't interested in hearing it. The next day I get a long text about how she's never been so embarrassed and how a real man would never do that to a woman. All my guy friends think I did the right thing. Most of my female friends felt that I should have just been a nice guy and paid the bill. My thing is, sticking up for myself doesn't make me a bad person. I'm a nice guy who wasn't about to let someone take advantage of him. So, as always, we gotta take the case over to Decoy Court where we decide who the true antagonist is right here. So, one thing I would say is, after we did that long video about the double standard on Reddit, I'm very curious as to a very clear-cut case like this, where the majority of Redditors are gonna side on that. But the one thing I'll say right here is, she's just taking advantage of the guy. It's clear as day. The simple fact that this guy was sitting there like, well, maybe I'll give it a second shot. I paid for this girl's dinner, didn't get anywhere, didn't seem to have a good conversation with her either. But you know what? Maybe this time's gonna be different. Makes me feel like this guy's a little bit, for lack of a better word, desperate. A guy with lots of opportunities, lots of different dates, and lots of success with other women that he actually enjoys spending time with, where they reciprocate whatever feelings or paying for dinner or whatever it may be. He doesn't need to sit there and like, well, this girl sucks and I don't really like her, but maybe I'll give it a second chance because she's the only person that's willing to spend time with me, right? So the idea is not to, I guess, the decoy defense, and no, that's not it. There it is. The decoy defense right there would be the idea is it's almost implied that this guy is kind of a, I don't want to say he's a loser because you're not going to go too hard on him, but the idea is he's willing to spend his premium time. Like he's out there working out, trying to better himself, and some girl hits him up randomly. He's like, hey, take me to sushi. And he's like, okay, I'll take you to sushi. Yeah, let's go. It's like, no, a guy should be able to put his foot down and say, hey, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm sorry, go call somebody else. And the idea that she's like, oh, I want you to take me to sushi, like sit down restaurant. He says no, and still drives her to sushi and still says, okay, yeah, I guess I'll drink tea. Like she's leading this entire conversation, making him go there, and the idea is he just sat there, not even passively aggressively, just passively scared, sitting there like, maybe if I stare at the bill for long enough, she'll man up and pay the bill and do it. It's like, no, just be direct. First off, don't even be in that situation. Second off, just be bold enough and assertive enough to say, "Oh no, you need to pay that bill. I didn't drink it. No, 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 no. Like I'm walking out in 2 seconds. You take care of your bill." The idea that he had to go to other people, not necessarily to vent, but to say, "Hey, am I the asshole? Am I doing the right thing?" And also asking the internet, "Hey, should I not be taking advantage of people just trying to use me for a free meal? I'm unsure of myself. Lets me know everything I need to know." So on both fronts, on the decoy defense and in the decoy court, we got to go ahead and say that. Kind of sad, but everyone sucks here, especially the girl Jane. She sucks because she's just using guys and probably getting not maybe necessarily using guys, but if they're using OP this bad, I would only venture to guess they're dating. I'm not dating, but they're using other men online this way and actually getting away with it. But the idea is, OP needs to stand up and say, "Hey, I won't be used like this. I'm not going to be backed into a corner and then browbeat by this person saying you need to man up and be a real person or be a real man and, you know, take care of people you want on a date with." It's like you should just never be in that situation to begin with. So, you know, that's my takeaway. Make sure you can earn yourself the Decoy coin in the comment section by leaving your feedback right now. We'll take a short break before we read those top comments because that oftentimes changes what we think about it. But the top comment over here says, "Not the antagonist. There would have been more next time. She was never going to pay and just wanted free food." And then this, "Not the antagonist, nor are you the ATM." And the thing is, what I heard a long time ago is people treat you the way you let them treat you. And that's exactly what this was he was allowing this to happen. Like she was walking all over him from a mile away saying, "Hey, take me to go get sushi." "Okay, I don't want to, but I'll still drive you there." "Oh, you pay for this meal." "Well, you should pay for the meal. Just be a man." Like I say, he's the antagonist too because he needs to get a swift kick in the butt in the sense of growing up, being assertive, and sad to say, maybe if he was a more assertive guy, he would have gotten further in that relationship and she wouldn't be trying to walk over him or even identifying this guy as this kind of sad sack. "Oh yeah, all I have to do is say, hey, do you want to hang out with me? You have the privilege to hang out with me and drive me to a place you don't want to go, and I will provide nothing in terms of like good conversation or a fun time. It's just, yeah, pay for my sushi or whatever." It's terrible. So next top reply was, "I'm a female and you definitely did the right thing." Next reply, "Ditto. In fact, I find women who pull this kind of crap to be incredibly embarrassing because it causes men to think the majority of our gender behaves this way. It's gross." And here's the thing is, I don't think the majority of anybody behaves this way. I think there's exceptions to the rule, but the idea is for the most part, people you go on online dates with are just good experiences. They're fun times. It's nice to go out and meet new people. The idea is, oh, there's this population of guys like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're so terrible." It's like, who are you dating and what situation are you in that you have a constant influx of people that are just treating you terribly? I think that says more about the person than the actual girls are going on dates with. But let's go ahead and read one more top reply saying, "Not the antagonist. I'm a female. No, you shouldn't have paid for a meal. What kind of crock is that? This is a woman trying to see just how much she can take advantage of you. It was the same thing when you ordered a second glass of wine and you had to ask for the bill on the first date. She was testing the waters." And that's exactly what we were saying earlier in the sense of people treat you the way you let them treat you. People treat you the way they let you. Wait, what? People treat you the way you let them. There you go. I keep on trying to add extra words. But he was allowing it to happen. She already pegged him for a loser and says, "Oh yeah, he's just that excited to cancel his gym, go home and eat real quick to go rush to hang out with me." And it's like, no, you've already communicated everything you need to in the idea that someone can hit you up late and say, "Hey, I know last date you just paid for some wine for me and we didn't really do anything or have any good times or anything notable that he would have put in this story. Yeah, let's hang out again, take me to sushi." All terrible. But let's go ahead and see what the controversial section's saying right now, saying, "Well, I'm not saying that she's a gold digger, not the antagonist, and I have lady parts of that makes a difference." Okay, whatever. The next one, "You need new female friends. If a man did that to me, I would have done the same exact thing you did. Scratch that. I would have paid my half on the first date and let them handle what they ate." In some aspects, if you're going on a first date, it just kind of makes sense you would pay for it. And I'm not even the type to like, oh, on a first date, I want to go take them out and say, "I'm going to treat you this, I will treat you that." But honestly, if it's like, if we're at a coffee shop and we're getting 2 coffees, it's what at most $3. It's not that big of a deal. But something like wine, drinks at a fine fancy restaurant, I could see that being taxing. You're like, okay, no, I'm not doing this. So yes and no. The next reply of, what the heck? Okay, so there's just another story online. I'm not going to click that link. "Not the antagonist at all. I'm a woman, would never do this to anyone. How rude." And the next reply is, "This is why the MGTOW is a thing." And that's I was going to cover it in the other story, but I just didn't feel like it was just making the video too long. Men going their own way, so it's about, I don't want to say, oh, a bunch of bitter men that are tired of getting taken advantage of, but it's kind of that where they say, okay, no more buying expensive dates and going out and trying to impress girls, just focus on yourself, where, you know, at its core, it seems like a good thing. Like, hey, focus on yourself. Get in shape, get a better job, be more interesting, and then more girls are probably gonna like you just because you're a better catch overall. But sometimes it gets a little, it goes in the opposite way that it should sometimes. So I see why, like, you know, it gets a bad rep. And then the last controversial reply was, I'm a woman, you're not the antagonist. But to be fair, the whole American dating thing and all these different rules associated with it seem utterly bizarre to me, so I may be biased. And the one thing I'll take away from all this, after doing the other posts, and, you know, I'm not Mr. Macho Man, whatever, I'm just gonna say he's savage, but I'm not the guy that's out there like just master player dating all the girls and everything, but I have a good extensive dating history, and what I feel from it is the whole, there's rules and there's this and there's tactics and call it this many days and go on this date or whatever, that oftentimes just makes me feel like that particular person has a bit of baggage. They're so accustomed to having bad experiences, they don't want to recreate those bad experiences. So instead of, hey, let's tackle the root of this issue and make myself a better package for people and be more of a catch, let me figure out how to browbeat the other people. Here's a new girl I'm dating or a new guy I'm dating. Let me make sure that I do everything to vet them better, to punish them for things that other people have done, all while never working a single ounce on myself, making me better, where people will inherently want to treat you better. You'll get a higher quality of person if you're a higher quality of person yourself. But no. The rules, the whole make sure they pay for this, and we don't do a first date at a coffee shop, and we don't Netflix and chill or whatever. Like, I know Netflix and chill has a negative connotation, but sometimes that's just what it is. Like, oh yeah, let's go out, meet, let's have coffee, whatever, hang out. Wow, we've been talking for 4 hours and now it's like midnight or something. I'm still having a good time. This is like, what, Friday? No one has work tomorrow? I don't know, you just want to come over and maybe just like have some wine or have some whiskey and watch Netflix or whatever. It has a weird connotation, but sometimes that's where the first date is. And the whole, oh, there's rules and female dating strategy, never do this and never do that, just makes me feel like it's this weird thing where you're trying to game the system, but you're actually kind of inhibiting your ability to enjoy the moment of someone that you're actually hitting it off with. But that's my particular opinion. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe down below, and also maybe sharing it with somebody you think might like this, because as you know, I tried a different type of content, landed straight on its face, so maybe this can do better. But, you know, if you made it to the end of the celebration video, we're celebrating with likes, hearts, shares, whatever you can do. Make sure you're supporting the channel however you can. You can check out the Ko-Fi or the Patreon if you really want to support me, but none of that is necessary if you just want to put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of DecoyNoise coming up next.